Describe for me, if you can, what the last 600, nearly 40 days have been like for you since November 29, 2023, and really reshaping the landscape of this franchise with your selling of the team.
Not what I expected. That's the best way to describe it. But, all that's behind us. There's, not a lot I can change right now. And so now it's just about rooting for the Mavs, supporting them when asked, helping them where I can, being as positive as I can for them, and, trying to send the message that, we're here to win.
I can remember at least one annoying journalist known for pestering you with some really just questions that you don't really want to answer but can't help himself. And I remember that person saying that you were going to regret selling this team. How would you characterize it?
I don't regret selling the team. I regret how I did it. Right? Would I still sell the team? Yes, for all the same reasons I've said 100 times. Would I do it the same way? Absolutely not.
What would you change?
I would have put it out to bid. But I didn't, so it doesn't matter.
What was the relationship with the Adelson family that
I got along great with them. They gave me their Man of the Year award, and so I got along great with Sheldon. I got along great with Miriam. Matan worked for us, and so I had a great relationship with them. Still have a great relationship with them. It's just the contractual terms didn't turn out the way the contract didn't lead to what I expected to have happen.
So this just happened in Boston and in LA.
Yeah.
And in Boston, Wick Grossbeck, decided or came to an agreement with the new owners of the Boston Celtics that, in fact, no, he is not going to remain in charge, and he was going to remain in charge as the CEO. A different kind of operation than you. We haven't seen what will happen with Jeannie Buss. Jeannie Buss says she is going to retain control. What do you make of that?
You've got to have 15% to be a governor.
Right.
I have 27%, and that was intentional.
So what happened?
There were things in there that I don't want to get into the contract and all that kind of stuff. I've already, there's no reason to relitigate it. It's done. It's done, right? I'd rather talk about Cooper Flag and what's happening next because I can't change any of it. What's done is done, and I try not to look back and, woulda, coulda, shoulda, because that doesn't change shit. I'm still a Mavs fan for life, and that's what matters.
So forget the specifics and the mechanics of it, but just getting to the point that you said, because those of us who've known you for a long time never imagined you selling. It was the end of November 2023. So in the months leading up to that, how did you convince yourself I have to do this?
No, I actually sent an email to Adam Silver in October of 22 saying that I was going to sell and why I was going to sell. And explained it to him. And
why didn't you leak me that email?
just a BCC to your friend Mark.
Right.
So a year out.
A year before.
And what did he say?
He was shocked. Right. He was surprised, like everybody else was. But I gave him the same reasons that I've given you guys. That it just was time. It'd been 22 years at that point. I thought I was going to be in a position where I'd be able to continue to run the team. But it wasn't at that point I thought I'd be in a position to run the team, but I thought when I sold, as you guys know, but all the same reasons, my kids, estate, just the level of the way media and everything treats sports,
Sure.
And the other side of it was that I explained to him is, in the Board of Governors meetings, it went from being very entrepreneurial. What can we do to make the NBA better for fans? To how can we increase valuations?
Sure.
And those are two very different types of businesses. It went from, private equity is not allowed to private equity dominating. And private equity is all about increasing, the valuation of the teams. And I would try to explain to people, like when I bought the Mavs for $285 in 2000, it was worth $285 in 2010 when we couldn't sell the New Orleans franchise. And the Sixers got bought for pretty much the same amount of money 10, 11 years later. And so, I think the NBA is losing a step on the entrepreneurial side and the fan side. Like the guys at the Warriors say, it's not show fun, it's show business.
Sure.
And I never ran it that way. And there were a lot of other individual owners that never ran it that way, but that's not the way it's being run today.
But wasn't the fact that you had this pre-existing relationship with the Adelsons, wasn't that a huge contributing factor that you could sell the team because you thought you knew?
No,
who you
not
were
when I sent the
selling to?
email. No, it was just like that was there, and I didn't realize they had that kind of interest. I thought that I would just partner with them just to build a new arena. I didn't realize that it was at that point in time. I had no idea that they'd be interested in buying it. None.
So when you started to mention about the basketball operations portion of this, was it your understanding that once the team was sold that you would be in control?
Yeah.
Was that something that you wanted to have in writing when it came
I
to
did have it in writing. Look, I don't want to get into all
Sure.
this stuff again,
Sure.
right? I've said all this stuff before. Go Mavs.
Sure.
I'm still there for the Mavs. I'm still positive about the franchise going forward. I'm still going to help all I can, but there's no reason to go through all that stuff again. Like I've said before, there was a clause in there that gave me the right to be in every meeting, every trade discussion, everything, and the NBA took that out.
Understood.
I just have to say, for the record, the NBA disputes that and says they did not. So I'm just.
Oh, I'll show it to you. I'll show it to you later, right? It says you have the right.
They dispute the part about them saying they're the ones that took it out.
Who the hell do you think took it out? I mean, I've got the letter from my lawyer saying the NBA made us remove it.
So you're not motivated to follow up with them and say, why was this removed?
I don't give
in
a
my
fuck. At
case?
this point, it's done. I signed the contract. It's contract is signed. It was signed on the line that was dotted. There's nothing I can do
Sure.
at this point in time to change any of it. So what's the point?
So when you sit at games now, how different is it?
Very different. The refs talk to me and are nice to me, even when I yell at them because I don't have any leverage over them anymore.
You think it's the opposite. They're like, he can't do anything. Now we can actually say what we feel.
I've always got along well with the refs, but they knew that I was the only one in the Board of Governors meetings, and I was the only one talking about it, and the only one talking to Albert Sanders about this on an ongoing basis.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, it's different just because the people around aren't the same. And I had no say in that decision. That's what makes it the most different.